The Sabrent USB-DS12 is a universal adapter that allows you to easily access SATA storage-based devices and IDE hard drives. It will essentially turn your internal storage device into an external one, and that is great, especially with IDE hard drives, which more than likely you cannot use anymore. The USB-DS12 is available for around $23, which is not that bad for an adapter that has no less than 3 separate input ports. Of course, I am talking about the regular SATA interface, which will handle both SATA SSDs and SATA hard drives, and then we have 2 separate IDE ports, one that features the classic hard drive IDE notch and the other one that has no clip or notch available. Usually those were reserved for smaller IDE drives. In terms of the design, there isn't much to say. Like at all. It's just an adapter that is made from plastic. Yes, plastic. I know it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. The only design element present on this adapter is the Sabrent logo painted next to the only button available, and this button is just a simple toggle switch from on to off. The accessories included with the Sabrent USB-DS12 is what you'd expect. You have a user manual, a dedicated 4-pin Molex cable for powering older hard drives, a power AC cable, and that's it. I also decided to take apart the adapter as it's only held together by 4 screws at the back, and with both sides of the casing removed, we get to see how this adapter works. We start with the biggest of the chips. This has a model number IS611, and it is made by InnoStore. The IS611 is a USB 3.0 to SATA combo bridge controller, and it is used in a wide variety of adapters, especially these types that combine multiple input ports. The main advantage of this chip is that it works as advertised. Imagine that. I am saying this because, let's say, a lot of these types of adapters, some even more expensive, either do not work at all or work very slowly, especially when we have to detect an older hard drive. The smaller chip installed on the PCB of the adapter has the model number XL1513E1 and is made by XLEMI. This little chip is a DC to DC converter and supports a wide voltage range and has an adjustable output. The soldering quality of this PCB is, well, average at best, and I really can't understand why. This is the same company that gave us one of the best M.2 SSDs on the market, yet they allowed this to get out of the factory. It's not going to break anything, it's just messy and shows a lack of care for the build quality. Testing this adapter is easy, and first I had to find myself an older Western Digital hard drive. This is a IDE based 70GB model, and back then having this made you the coolest kid on the block. Nowadays, well, my phone has more space in its SD card, but whatever. The IDE drive is used for one simple test, to see if the adapter and the computer will easily recognize this old hard drive, and they did. Almost instantly. In fact, the only thing that I had to do was to change the letter of the partition in the drive, but that is the case with many adapters and drives. The real test is using an SSD, and I am using the Samsung 840 EVO 120GB SSD. Yes, I know it's not the newest SSD out there, but that is sort of the point of this adapter if you think about it. Just using older drives. Now, the Samsung 840 EVO 120 usually has a read speed of 500 MB per second and a write speed of 400 MB per second, and with the Sabrent USB-DS12 adapter, the speed is pretty much cut in half. The read speed is now 270 MB per second and the write speed is 256 MB per second. The Sabrent USB-DS12 is a good little product that will solve a lot of issues, especially since someone, say a relative, sort of drops on you a few IDE hard drives and asks you to remove and recover precious holiday photos from them. This adapter will solve that issue quite fast and with little to no headaches. And to be completely honest, the only issue that I have with this adapter is the questionable soldering on the surface of the PCB. For the price of $23 or the equivalent in euros, this adapter is great and should be part of your toolkit. It will work just fine, and that's the best thing about it. It has no useless software recommendations and proprietary connectors. This thing will work with whatever cables will fit. However, there is a small inconvenience, apart from the PCB soldering, for hard drives, either IDE or SATA. Well, the speed is good, however, for a SATA based SSD, the speed is lower. close to half of the original speed. This is more than likely due to the controller used to make the conversion in between the connected drive and the USB output port. There isn't much we can do about it, unfortunately, but live with it. And in this case, it's not that bad because chances are you are using this adapter to extract data from a drive that you no longer use. If you like this review, then you might consider subscribing for more, and also if you want to support the channel in a direct way, then in the description below you will find the links for both the Patreon and the subscriber star pages of this channel.